Hey everybody, so it's Brett from Wevolve, and I wanted to do a really important video. It's a simple video, but it's an important video. And I think this is probably one of the things that changed my life the most, and I think it will change yours. So the video is gonna be about why we should always say no right from the beginning. I know that sounds really weird. But this video is specifically for people who are dealing with fatigue, overwhelm, burnout, illness, having too much going on, overachieving mentality. This video might not be for people who are, I don't want to use the word lazy, but laid back, unambitious, or people who already do very little. This is not a video saying that we should do absolutely nothing. This video is going to be for the average person that's watching this video. We live in a world where everything's a rat race. We always feel like we have to do more and more and more. We have to be there for everyone, the perfect parents, have the perfect home, be always the perfect partner. We have to be good to our friends, good to our families. We have to excel at our jobs. We have to also find time for fitness and cooking and meditating and whatever else it is that we're trying to do on our healing journey. Most people that I meet that are sick are not people who are too laid back. People that are very laid back, they rarely get sick. There's a lesson that we can learn from that. So if you are sick, your energy level is lower. You're more fatigued, not because you're sick, but you were fatigued, which is what led you to be low vitality and develop illness in the first place. Yes, you could have a damaged microbiome. Yes, it could be from antibiotics. It could be from vaccines. It could be from many different things that got you sick. But a lot of the time, it's stress that makes us sick. And no, I'm not just going to say like a little stress here and there. It's people that burn the candle at all ends. It's people that push past their fatigue. It's people that don't listen to their body. It's people that feel like they have to do everything. The light is really shifting. This is like a weird hour of the morning and I'm using natural light. So if my face is doing all kinds of weird light fixture things, there's nothing I can do, folks. There's no controlled light in this environment today right now. But you see my Christmas pillow? Cute AF. I think so. But this video is one of the things that changed my life. If you haven't seen my boundaries video, I really recommend checking it out. It explains the difference between energetic and verbal boundaries. That video is going to tie into this video. I'm going to touch base a little bit on that anyways. So when we're sick, we tend to be yes people. We tend to promise that we'll be there for the holidays. We tend to promise that we're gonna, show up for dinner. We tend to promise our friends will be there. We tend to answer the calls when people call us to complain. We tend to show up with excellence at work, even if we're sick and tired and exhausted. We tend to be that person who makes sure that our kids always have a perfect lunch. We tend to be those people that make sure that the house is organized and that we have a list that's 14 steps long. And if we don't make lists, we've got 85 things in our head at any given time. Emotional and energetic drain and overwhelm is the main cause of illness. Stress is the main cause of illness. Not taking care of oneself, in other words, having crappy boundaries, is a really big part of it. Now, there's a big difference between an energetic, I'm going to just touch base quickly on this here, if you haven't seen that other video, and I recommend watching that whole video. There's a big difference between an energetic boundary and a verbal boundary. A verbal boundary is telling somebody what you will not tolerate from them. An energetic boundary is deciding what you will not tolerate from yourself or from others, but within yourself. For example, I do not tolerate people screaming in my face. I think it's really rude. Have I screamed in people's faces? Oh yeah, I've definitely screamed in people's faces. Personally, I think they deserved it, but of course I would. That's just my perspective. I'm not saying that screaming in people's faces is the right thing to do or that it's an inhuman thing to do. It's a very common thing to do when we're upset or when we're angry. But somebody just violently screaming in my face is not something I tolerate. So if somebody starts violently screaming in my face, typically what they're going to receive from me is, hey, listen, I think we should take some space. I think you should calm down. We can talk about this when you're calm. Or simply, I walk away and I leave and they can scream to themselves. So what we engage with is what we're tolerating. Our strength and our power is in our energy and where we choose to direct it. Not with just our actions and our presence, but also with our attention. So for example, somebody screams in your face. You could just walk away, but you could spend the next 2 hours complaining to your friend about that person screaming in your face. Guess what? That's not a very good boundary. Yes, you walked away from that person. Good boundary. Step one was good. But you chose to continue to focus on negativity. Now, I kind of digress a little bit. When we don't have the best boundaries, we tend to say yes to things and do things that we don't really want to do. At the root of many illnesses is actually exhaustion and resentment, and we don't really realize it. We can resent things like overworking at our job when we're tired. We can resent our partners when we come home and we take care of all the kids' needs when we're just as tired as they are from our day. We might resent the fact that the house is always dirty and we always have to clean and pick up and organize it because we're the cleaner one. We might resent the fact that we get a lot less sleep than our partners, friends, parents, whatever else, because we've taken on too much at work or at job or in our lives in general. Or our health isn't good and we just don't sleep well, period. We might resent the fact that we're sick in the first place and that we got to this place and that we did it to ourselves, or that we feel other people did it to us and that we have to be on a protocol even. That might be something that we resent. We might resent the money that needs to go into purchasing supplements and other things. We might just literally resent our life experience. There's so many different ways that we can be resentful. But the first way to get rid of resentment is to completely and radically change the way you interact with yourself and the world around you. So the first step to saying no all the time, and what I mean by saying no all the time is, if you are healing from a condition, I want you right now to make a contract with yourself that you are, or you're healing a burnout, or you're healing from a breakup, or you're healing from an emotional drain, or you're healing from anything difficult. The first thing I want you to do is remove yourself as the go-to person for every single person in your life. I don't care if you're a nurse, I don't care if you're a teacher and people go to you, you might have to do that at your job, but everybody else, everything else, you are not the go-to person. You're not the go-to person for your husband or wife. You're not the go-to person for your children. You can offboard that onto your partner. You are not the go-to person for your family and your friends. You're not the go-to person, I don't know, I'll use me as an example, for like every single person that has a condition on earth. You're not the go-to person for like every single person on Instagram. You're not the go-to person for all your other social media. You're not the go-to person for all of your friends to vent about their relationships and their problems. You're not the go-to person for people to help people move, to lend people money, to cook people food. You are not the go-to person. If you are not well, you have deficient energy and other people need to be helping you. And if you have trouble asking other people to help you, no problem. We don't have to start there. You can literally just start by taking yourself off the roster to be the assister for them. You are not the go-to person. It's a no. If somebody invites you to a social event, unless you are like, heck yeah, I really, really, really want to do this. I would do this if it was just me going alone. Then the answer is no. Anybody that calls you and messages you, the answer is no. And I even recommend going a step further. I would offboard all of your chores and tasks to somebody else. If you have a partner, you could say, hey, I'm really tired this month. I've been doing a lot of these things. Here's my list. Can you step in for a month? I need a break. That's it. Doesn't have to be complicated. If the partner is unwilling to do those things, they are not a good partner. I would recommend leaving. If you've been doing all these things and they're unwilling to do these things when you're tired and you need it, or you're sick or trying to heal, they are not the right partner for you. Out we go. Now, I know that's going to sound harsh, but this is it's important to be soft with yourself, but harsh with the world. And what I mean by that is not harsh with people or harsh with the environment. It means be firm in what you allow and what you don't allow. Putting yourself first is something that sick, tired, depleted, and burnt out people never do. When you learn to do it, your sickness, your tiredness, and your depletion will go away. It might take a little bit of time for your body to replenish fully, but the drain on your resources will go away. Overdoers get sick, underdoers rarely do. Become the underdoer. Give yourself unconditional allowance to let go of all the things you've been managing, holding, thinking about, organizing, controlling, actioning, planning. Give yourself carte blanche to literally do nothing other than the things you absolutely have to do. Okay, you might have kids. They might need a bath. Your partner can do that. Your family member can do that. I don't know, offboard. Be willing to offboard the way other people have been offboarding on you. Also, social events. I know a lot of people, especially when they're sick and stuff, they're like lonely. But I know for me, I was a person who was not honoring what it was that I really wanted to do. I was helping people move when I was sick, even when like I was really busy or doing other things. I would be like about to sit and eat my first meal of the day at 3 p.m. because I'd been taking care of everybody else and I was like starving hangry. And I was like, I need to eat now, like I'm out of gas. And in that moment, my neighbor would have a need and the package would come and this and this and this and my family, and there'd be like all these sick people and blah, 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 blah. And it went on and on. And I would be in this state of feeling like, oh my God, I don't have a minute to take care of myself. The reality is we have endless amounts of time to take care of ourselves. We just don't prioritize it. That's the truth. Yes, you might work a 9-to-5 job. That doesn't leave you a lot of external time, but you could outsource the rest of your time before work. When you come home, you can carve out those moments for your meditation. You can carve out that hour to read. You can carve out that, time. You can order takeout, even if you have to eat less optimally for a period of time. Energetic preservation is the most important part of healing from any depletion of any kind, emotional, energetic, or physical, as an illness. So most people are trying to upkeep their life like life doesn't stop just because I'm sick. I'm telling you, it can stop, and you can ask for that help that people are not volunteering to give you. And all the things that you're doing, you don't have to carry them alone, and you don't have to do them. It is not single-handedly your job to save and help every single person on earth, especially when you're pouring from an empty cup. When we do things that we don't really want to do, we say yes to that friend to go for coffee when we're tired and we would much rather nap, or when we're literally like inundated with stuff in our work or other things, or we're just feeling not in the mood. Or, our family is like, hey, do you have extra eggs at your house? But you're really not in the mood to see anybody. And you do, you have, 48 eggs at your house, but it's not your responsibility to furnish eggs for everybody. I would like to invite every single person to try the art of unconditional receiving, because most sick people already know how to unconditionally give. You don't need to learn that lesson. If you feel like you're an unconditional receiver already, well, this is not the video for you. But that's very few people for the most part, especially people that are sick. The healthy people, they're unconditionally receiving. So if you start telling yourself, I am now in the role of the unconditional receiver, that looks like, hey babe, I'm too tired to cook tonight. I don't care if you cook all the time. I'm too tired to cook tonight. Can you step in? Or, hey, I want to take a month off of cooking. I'm feeling overwhelmed. I want that time to just take a bath instead. I want that time to just read a book instead. Let's figure something else out. Can we hire someone? Can we order in food? Can you step in? Can we get your mother, my mother, your sister, my neighbor, anybody to come in and do this? Maybe we let them eat for free, but they have to come and do the cooking. There's always a solution. I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, but I'm sick, I don't have money. There's always a creative solution. You can barter stuff. You can barter services. You can sell stuff from your home. You can sell goods that you have. You can borrow money from family. You can just put it on the credit card and deal with it later. All these things are possibilities. I know it's not ideal, but your health is ideal. And it's not just about shutting off the physical doing. It's about shutting off the mental doing. That means when you offboard a task to somebody else, you are literally not going to think about it. Doesn't matter if they didn't clean as good as you. It doesn't matter if they left dirt on the kid's foot when they were washing them. It doesn't matter if they packed an unhealthy lunch for your child. It doesn't matter if they didn't do it correctly. It doesn't matter if there's mildew in the laundry because they didn't do it right. It literally doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what happens after you offboard yourself. You just need to fully offboard yourself. Learning the art of detachment, of offboarding, and the art of another concept I'm going to explain here, which is the law of natural repercussion. The law of natural repercussion is something I heard a girl talk about in a video a really long time ago. It was such an interesting concept. I'd never thought about it this way until she told me, and I'm going to share it with you guys. We learn through our own experiences. We don't need people to tell us that the oven is hot. If we touch it and we burn ourselves, we will forever remember. Nobody needs to tell us to sleep, because if we just don't sleep for 2 days, we will be so tired and so cracked out that it will just happen naturally. If no one needs to tell us to eat our breakfast, if we don't eat our breakfast and we end up really, really tired and we end up gorging on sugar all day, after a while, we will start to feel so disgusting that we will organize ourselves to eat breakfast, or we will get the repercussions of poor health. and depletion, deterioration, gut problems, whatever it is. There is a cost and effect that happens. There is a repercussion to every choice that we make, right? If we go to bed early, the repercussion or the effect will be that we feel good the next day. If we stay up really late and we party all night, the repercussion will be hangover and feeling tired the next day. Nobody needs to tell us, don't drink tonight, you have to work tomorrow. We will experience that if we go out and we party and we have to work the next day. We will have to suffer through that. We will learn and we will grow. Nobody needs to be taught, not even children. Children will learn on their own. Yes, there's a certain age bracket where children need to be watched, which is why I mentioned earlier in the video the importance of offboarding onto a partner, offboarding onto family, offboarding onto support system when you're sick, right? Having somebody else take over that role. But in general, for the most part, other than very young children, while you're in a really short window of parenting, even later childhood and even adulthood, once kids are not gonna, blow their eye on the corner of the table or run right into the middle of the road, once they've learned these basic rules, your children are now on their own growth journey and you are just a guide. And the best way we can guide our children is by taking care of ourselves and showing them what a healthy adult human looks like. Not just physically healthy, but emotionally, spiritually, and energetically healthy. A happy mother or father who's present for 5 minutes in their child's life with a positive energy is more impactful and valuable than a person who's there 19 hours a day, strung out, burnt out, tired, and doing it with a resentful energy. Children feel energy. So even when we think we're doing something good, I'm just giving an example of children because I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, but I have kids. I don't have the luxury, right? That's like the biggest excuse people have. Or a really busy job or whatever else. But the truth is we always have choices and we always have options and we always have the ability to change it. And all these things are stories and they're excuses. It doesn't matter how much we have going on. There are moments where I've had so much going on, I completely understand. And yes, I don't have children. My sister does. I see what it's like. So in those moments, I still always had the choice to put me first, to turn off my phone when I eat, right? If people are blowing me up and stressing me out during my meals, the problem is actually why my phone is on. It's not about those other people. Let them solve their own problems. Saying no looks like, hey, do you want to do something next Sunday? And just being like, oh, okay, I'm not sure how my schedule's going to be on Sunday. And right now I'm a little bit overcommitted. So what I'm going to do, if it's okay with you, is touch base with you that day, or you can reach out to me, the night before, and we'll see if I join or not. But for now, let's just leave it at a no. Like, don't depend on me for it. That's what that looks like, okay? It doesn't look like no, harsh no, no with love. Somebody reaches out to you and says, hey, I really need you to help me move. Just say, unfortunately, Saturday doesn't work for me. Is there anybody else that can help you? That's what that looks like. It looks like, I really hope you find someone that can help you. Or it looks like, hey, I have too much going on, or I'm a little under the weather. I'm not gonna be able to be the person to help you for this. But good luck with everything. Now, if you are the perpetual giver and you first start offboarding, right? If you're the partner that carries all the weight, if you're the person who carries all the burden because you've placed yourself as the smarter, it's going to shift the energy with people in your life. And that could look like people trying to guilt you, people not being very happy at you saying no all of a sudden, all the time. It's not necessarily going to make everybody around you happy when they were able to dump on you. But the people that care about you, the people that are truly meant to be there, the people that actually want your health and well-being, the people that are supposed to be in the future of you, like with the future version of you that is healthy, those people will be supportive of it and they will be happy to step in. Those people will happily understand that you've been doing it and that it's not your sole responsibility, and they will be happy to do it exclusively for a period of time. These people will be happy that you're taking care of yourself. These people will be happy that you're taking time for yourself. These people will be happy that you're focusing on your own journey. People that are not happy that you're focusing on your own journey are on the take and they don't really love you. And I'm sorry, and that might sound harsh. It could be your family, it could be your partner. You will start to see people's true colors when you start taking care of yourself. You will start to realize who is not actually taking care of you. If people are unwilling to take care of you the way that you've taken care of them, they're not for you, period. Don't care if you've been 20 years with them. I don't care if they're your children. I don't care if they're your mother, father, sister, brother, cousin, coworker. It doesn't matter. Losing people is not a problem. Keeping people that are making you lose yourself, lose your energy, lose your health, lose your vitality, lose your purpose, lose your passion, lose your mission, that's a crime. And only you have the power with your energy to decide these things. So don't be afraid to tell people no. Be afraid to not tell them no, because by telling them no, you'll see who they really are, and you can shift the dynamic to one where you can actually thrive. What happens a lot of the time when we offboard onto people who've been taking perpetually from us, sometimes there's a little resistance or there's a little difficulty. We have trouble letting go of the reins, letting them do it, especially if they're not used to doing it and they do it much shittier than we do. Hate to say that, but it's true. And a lot of the times they will start to feel very overwhelmed by the amount that you are carrying. But guess what? That gives them some insight into why you're sick. That gives them some measure of understanding of what life has been like for you. And you know what that does? That evens the playing field. They will have to carry the weight for a period of time. They will start to get resentful. They will start to get tired. They will start to be exhausted too, and they will get it. And then in that moment where they get it, there will never be a disbalance again. They will not dump it all on you again if they love you and they care about you. Once they understand what your experience has been like, they will then start to be reciprocal, and you guys will have this beautiful push and pull of energy where everybody's contributing and fighting to unburden the other person. So it's not just they have to do it exclusively. Yes, for a period of time, maybe 1 to 3 months while you heal and you recover, the beginning stages of your condition or whatever it is, the beginning stages of your healing journey. But after that point, you guys will find a balance. Like, hey, listen, it's too much for one person to do. How about you handle the dishes and I handle the cooking? How about you bathe the children while I pack tomorrow's lunches? See what I mean? In half the amount of time, you now have a much more active partner. I'm using a very specific example, but it could be the same at work. If you've been carrying all the weight, you can start offboarding. Hey, listen, I've been handling 90% of the projects for a while. I'm really tired. I'm working on a healing journey. I've got some stuff going on. I value you as a partner. I need you to step in. I'm going to need you to handle the 90% I've been handling for the next month or two, but you're awesome and you can do it. And I'm here to offer 10%. That's what you say. If not, you get a different partner. You go to your boss, hey, listen, this person is not contributing. It's all on me. I need a better partner, whatever it is. There's always a workaround, but healing doesn't just come from eating the right food. If all you're counting on is food and the right supplements, you're going to lose this battle, because energetic depletion doesn't just happen because of bad food. That food is a very small energetic contributor. It happens because of toxic emotions. It happens because of fatigue energetically. It happens because of depletion. It happens because of overwhelm, because of taking too much on, because of this resentment building up. It happens because you don't have enough time to take care of yourself. You're not making enough time. You're not prioritizing yourself. It happens because you don't know how to let go and actually relax. It happens because you don't feel worthy of receiving all that you're giving. If somebody else can receive exclusively, so can you, especially when you need it so bad, like right now. So the blessing of this is you will get rid of people that shouldn't be there. You will see people's true colors, which will free you from spending any more time with siphoning energy vampires who are only on the take. Doesn't matter who they are in your life. It will put you on the path to wellness and healing, and it will put you in alignment with people who can actually help and serve and support and be an equal contributor in life. This is a really big point, guys. I don't think people realize how burdened sick people feel. And they're not burdened because they feel sick. They got sick because for a long time they were burdened and they were carrying the majority load, probably for everybody around them in almost every circumstance. This is the type of person that gets sick. So start saying no. Make no your mantra. If you're sitting down to eat lunch, everything else disappears. Someone knocks on the door, you don't answer. The package comes, you ask your neighbor if they can grab it for you, your partner, whoever. Whatever it is that interrupts yours, or better yet, you just turn your phone off. What would happen if your phone was off? Maybe the package came to be delivered, but guess what? They'll have to come back later. They're not just gonna take your package and go open it at their house. You know what I mean? They'll deliver again at a more convenient time. You have the right to honor yourself. Even if the kids go to bed dirty one night, even if you're a single parent and you don't have someone to offboard to, maybe you could ask your mother or your father or your sister or your cousin or a friend to come stay with you and help you out and unburden you for a week. Sometimes a week's rest is all we need to get back on track and to start to look at and get inspired again about how we can organize and change and shift our lives. Maybe the kids can stay at daycare a little longer. Maybe you can ask in your neighborhood if there's a community of people that all feel overwhelmed like that, and maybe you guys unburden each other by one day I take 6 kids from the neighborhood. Tomorrow, the other one takes 6 kids. The next day, someone else takes 6 kids, and we all get a nice, beautiful, full, relaxing, healing, kid-free day off. There's always a workaround, and this can be done without any money exchange, just energetic exchange of responsibility kind of thing. So a lot of people think that there are no solutions to the things that stress them, exhaust them, and overwhelm them, but that is not true. And the most powerful thing you can learn to do is say no and honor your truth. Now, I am a fan of saying no to everything, even things you kind of want to do. For example, your mom says, hey, let's start doing pottery on Wednesdays. But you've been feeling tired and you're into pottery and it feels like it would be really relaxing. But you've been tired and you've been busy and you haven't had enough time to do nothing. So adding pottery to the list, even though it's something fun, might just be an extra task that you're not always in the mood to do every week. So you don't have to say a flat no. You can say something like, hey, listen, I love pottery. It sounds great. I've had so much on my plate. It's going to be hard for me to commit to coming to pottery every Wednesday. How about you do pottery and you touch base with me when you're going? And if I have the time or that space that day, I will totally join you and enjoy that time with you. It can be soft and gentle, but I recommend not pre-booking yourself and trying to say no to everything just for a period of time. A month would be ideal, just to get you in the habit of unconditional receiving and to get you in the habit of off-boarding yourself and being okay with being bored, being okay with not filling every moment of your day with stuff, being okay with not taking on stuff, being okay with everybody in your life being a little disappointed because you aren't showing up the way that you were before, being okay with the fact that you can't be everything to everybody. Start to learn what it feels like to be in your own energy when you're not actually obligated to anything, because so many times we oblige ourselves to other people's things, events we promised our friend we would go to, things we promised we would, help, the money we promised we'd lend our sibling, whatever it is that's going on for you. Sometimes we just take on stuff because we feel like, okay, in this moment I can do it. But we have this mindset like, I'll relax when it's done. But the needs from other people and the needs from the world, they never go away. They only go away when we energetically sign a contract with ourselves that we're not going to do it anyways, that it's a hard no for us. Start practicing hard no. You can still do any of those things you want to do. No one's stopping you from going to that pottery. No one's stopping you from helping that person move last minute. But guess what? There's a big difference between telling someone, yeah, I'll help you move, in the day of being so tired and strung out and bitter and annoyed and resentful and either canceling because you're too sick or just simply like being miserable doing it, being angry. Like that creates bad energy between friends. It actually ruins the love. It's just an example. Whereas if you say to your friend, oh, I don't think I'm going to be able to help you with that because I'm busy doing this other thing that day, or I'm not available that day, or I got too much going on, or I don't have the energy or whatever. And then boom, the day of, you change your mind. Oh, you suddenly feel okay today and your friend's overwhelmed. So you just get over there. You show up and you help her do her move. She's going to feel like you're a hero and a savior. Whereas if you promise in advance, she's just going to expect it. So doing things, saying no, and then changing your no to a yes is really beautiful practice that actually excites people, makes them feel really happy, makes them feel like, oh my God, an extra blessing just happened to them that day. They start to see you not as a person they expect things from, but as a person who, like, even when you couldn't, went out of your way to help. They will not see it that way if you're always saying yes. People do not appreciate what is easy and always available. They appreciate what is like a one-off. They appreciate what is, given to them unexpectedly, right? Like somebody buying you flowers every single day, maybe for the first week or two, you're going to be like, wow, this is so nice. And then after a while, it's going to become the norm. You won't appreciate it the same way. Humans are programmed for complacency, meaning anything they receive all the time, they will stop thinking about it and stop even noticing that you're doing it. So if you're the person who's always doing dishes in your home and always doing all the cooking and always doing all the cleanup and you're always putting all the toilet paper in the bathroom and you're always pre-thinking the lists and buying all the paper towels that you need and you're always packing the kids' lunches and you're always washing the kids and you're always scrubbing the floors and you're always filling the distiller. If you're doing all these things, your partner will be in their energy of focusing on other things. They're not necessarily going to notice or realize that you're doing all these things. Maybe at the beginning they were like, oh, this food is so good. But after a while, they're just going to sit down and eat and then get up and go do what they were doing. And you will be left there feeling like, oh my God, I'm doing all this work and I'm not even being appreciated. If you never cook for the next 2 months and you offboard it to your partner, just an example. And then you come back and maybe one day in that 2 weeks, or a month period of time, you decide you want to cook something or you show up with takeout. It's going to feel like a nice welcome relief to them. They're going to start to realize what it looks like when somebody steps in unexpectedly. You will give them a taste of their own medicine, and not in a bad way. You will technically give them a taste of your medicine, what you've been living. And you will get to experience what they've been living. And guess what? You'll probably be unwilling to go back and take on 100% of the burden. It feels really good to tell people no, especially people who have been perpetually on the take in your life for a really long time. And that's most people. When you're an overgiver, they cannot help but balance the scale. If you're at 90, they have no room to give. Okay? If you're already stepping in and doing it all, they have nothing to do. We can't even be mad at them. Most people would be willing to help us more if they even had any idea of how much we were doing. People shoulder a lot of things and don't share and don't express, and it comes out in complaining. You never do the dishes, you never take out the garbage, like you don't feed the kids, like your coworker, you don't step in and help me, like, whatever it is. But people don't realize what it feels like to carry that load because they maybe never have, because they're more balanced, hence why they don't have health issues. You need to learn how to be balanced too. You need to learn the art of doing nothing. If you have any kind of illness, you need to learn the art of doing nothing. You need to learn the art of saying no to everything. You need to learn the art of putting yourself first. You need to learn the art of surrendering things not being done. You need to learn the art of just resting and being. That is what is going to ultimately heal you. So I won't go on too much of a tangent in this video. I'm going to close it up quickly. I just wanted to talk about this because it's so important and it completely and totally changed my life. And honestly, I battled with this up until not even that long ago. Like it was like an up and down, up and down, up and down. And I'll tell you, at the beginning when I started telling people no, I was getting a lot of really a lot of resistance. People were guilting me. They were like, oh, you're not being a good friend. Like, oh, you're always saying no, you're never available. Like, you're always sick, you're always tired, you're always this, you're always that. But after a while now, when people message me and they're like, hey, do you have like monk fruit powder? If I don't have it or if it's not a convenient time, I'm just like, no, sorry. Like it's not my job to furnish the monk root powder, or it's not my job to like, hey, by the way, like, do you think you could run and do this thing for me? If I can do it and I'm already going out and it's convenient for me to do it, or I'm bored and I'm like happy to go do an errand, I will say yes. If my true genuine feeling is yes, I will say yes. But I'm a person that even still to this day, I pretty much tell people no to advance stuff all the time. Someone's like, hey, do you want to come to this party 4 weeks from now? Most of the time I'll be like, maybe, but can you remind me then? Like this is a far way away. I don't know where I'm going to be at then. I don't even know if I'll be in town. This is kind of the answer that I give people. So I've trained everybody in my life to understand and realize, and I wasn't always this way. I used to be the person that, answered every single message. I was like picking up client calls at 3 a.m. I was getting up at 3 a.m. to like help people in China. Like this was crazy stuff, you guys. I was exhausted. I was depleted. I was pouring from an empty tank. I was sick. I was bloated. I was inflamed. I was miserable. I was depressed. And to be honest with you, I lost passion for everything that I loved in life because I just had no more gas. I was out of gas. And this made me bitter, annoyed, disgruntled, and I would fight with people and I would just blow up and I would just disappear and I would escape and I would flee to foreign countries and I would just go and hide out for 2 months and I would start to recover. I would cut everybody out. Sometimes my family, I would be like, I'm not answering an email or a text message. I died for 2 months. I'm not in existence. If you message me, I'm letting you know I'm fine. Now, I will not talk to you for 3 months. And in that time, I would start to heal and recover because I didn't realize how much I was everybody's go-to person. I've now trained people in my life to expect a no from me, or simply, I don't respond for long periods of time. That's another really great way to do this. I personally turn off my phone for long periods of time during the day. When I'm doing work, when I'm working on projects, when I'm taking care of myself, when I'm hanging out with friends or family, my phone is not on. I leave it on airplane mode. I can still take photos and videos of whatever I'm doing, but my phone is not on. I'm not on Instagram answering the messages of everybody that writes me. I have windows and pockets in a day that I dedicate to doing those things. And if somebody has a health problem, they can wait 2 more hours. They've probably been sick for a long time. If I'm going to give them free advice, I can do it at a time where I'm actually happy to do it and not when I'm like trying to eat my food and all stressed out. You know what I mean? Like it's not even a service of love then. The act of love that I give for people, and I do dedicate a lot of time to answering people's questions for free and making myself available and helping family and friends, but I do it when I have time to do it. I do it in pockets and I do it in windows. I do it when it actually works for me. I do it when I really do feel like doing it. Like, I'm committed to some things for the holidays, but they're things that I really want to do with friends, family, partner, whatever. So it's different when it's something you really want to do and it's something that you're looking forward to doing. It's not the same thing when you're doing it resentfully and bitterly and with exhaustion and feeling overwhelmed and feeling like there's too much on your plate and feeling like you have to do it for them and feeling like now they're a burden in your life and you're carrying like all these like heavy burdensome people. This is not love and it's not connection. It's not happiness and it's not healing. Then you are better getting rid of every single person in your life and just being on your own. So now I'm a person who pretty much takes a while to get back to people because my phone is off a lot of the day. It's not a game. I'm not like looking and being like, I'm gonna message this person back on Thursday. I don't even have time to strategize like that. I'm too busy taking care of myself, and you should be too. And I'm not the best at this. I'm still working on certain areas of it, but I'll tell you, I used to get very rude responses from people when I told them no. And then I just stopped responding to any of their rude responses. They wouldn't even get a response from me if they were rude. And now when I tell people no, they're like, oh, okay, thanks. People still ask. I get 1,000,001 questions a day. Family, friends, everybody has a need. Their neediness won't go away, but your availability to meet their need will. And that's what you have control over. They can get their need met by themselves, like the way you're now taking care of your own needs. And they can get their needs met by somebody else. If somebody calls you and they say, hey, I really need to borrow your car, but your phone is off because you're resting, and they really need to get somewhere, I'm sure they're gonna source a taxi or take their bicycle or ask someone else for their car or go rent a car or figure their own life basically out. It's not your responsibility to be that person for everybody. And if you have a hard time not being that person, maybe inner work needs to happen. I have videos on shadow work. I have videos on, all these other things on why people feel the need to overgive, overextend, overservice, overprovide, over show up. These things sometimes stem from not feeling worthy, not feeling valuable enough, not feeling lovable, not feeling loved enough, not feeling like you're enough. It can come from some of those things. It can also come from a disrupted nervous system, which was the case for me. So maybe doing something like the workout, which is nervous system course. It's just like somatic exercises, or you can do some of her somatic exercises from Instagram. Or some other people, you can look up somatic exercises or do meditations or do deep breathing or listen to sound baths or do more, resting, napping, just being, silent practices, like hermiting out for a bit, whatever you need to do to downregulate your nervous system so you don't always feel like you have to be on the go. But this will be single-handedly the thing that shifts and changes your life and your health more than anything else you are going to do. This is the most powerful thing you can do to preserve your energy, save your energy, and actually feel full of life, full of vitality, and start to recover some of that lost life force that's been taken from you and that you have expulsed or expelled into the universe all the time, just giving, giving, giving. You have a right to receive. Learn how to do it. Learn how to ask for it. Learn how to offboard. Be okay with who leaves your life. Be okay with who stays. And be okay with things radically shifting and changing to one where you actually have an abundance of time for yourself. You have an abundance of time to focus on your healing journey. You have people in your life that understand when you want to do something and when you don't, and they honor and they love that. They want you to be happy. They don't just want you to be there for them. So I love you guys so much. I hope this video helped, and I'll see you in the next one.